So I've washed the pieces of the glove. There's actually 3 leather pieces. This one right here, the back, the top of the web, and then where the pocket is. And I've washed them with the Lexol cleaner, and I've let it dry for about 24 hours or so. I did it overnight. And I'm ready to dress the leather. There's a lot of different products out there, and I've used a lot in the past, Glavoleum, the glove oil by Rawlings. I've used Lexol leather conditioner. I've used, some people recommend using Barbasol, which is like shaving cream. Some people use Vaseline. There's a lot of different options out there. And I don't know how good some of them are, whether they really condition your glove or whether they do it harm in the long term. But the thing that I've come across that I really, really like to use, and I always end up using it nowadays, is Picard. This is just their standard leather dressing. They have something tailored specifically for baseball gloves, but the company says that and their standard classic leather dressing is the exact same formulation. So I have the classic leather dressing, and once again, with all these products, a little bit goes a long way, and I'll show you how little I use in order to dress and condition these leather pieces. And you're going to want to condition it right after it dries, so that it doesn't dry out too much, okay? Because any leather that you wash needs to be conditioned, because it's not a living beast anymore, okay? This is basically skin that is dead, so you need to condition it. So I'm going to open up the leather dressing here, and I do this with my bare hands. So, it's basically some sort of oil or something, and I just take a little bit with my hands, really not even that much, and I let my hand warm it, and I kind of spread it around in my fingers, and then I just take it and I start applying it to the leather, and you can immediately see the leather taking this in. It darkens the color just a little bit, and it also adds a little bit of shine to it. So once again, really not a lot of it. And sometimes what I do is I apply a really thin coat, and then I come back after it's soaked in and apply another really thin coat. So I do this twice. And immediately you can actually feel the glove, the leather, start to soften up. See how it's working in right here? So this is the side where I've applied the conditioner, and this is the side that doesn't have any yet. And you can see it's a little bit darker, tiny bit. You want to make sure that you get every single area, including this the edging on the glove, the leather edging. Some gloves actually have vinyl edging, which I personally don't like, but you don't have to apply this to the vinyl edging if your glove has vinyl edging. Alright, so this is the first coat of conditioner, and it's looking pretty good. As you can tell, if you can see in the light, it kind of now has this sheen to it, and that's because of the oil, or the dressing that I put on it. And that's what you really want to see. You kind of want to see just a slight sheen, not a lot, not too shiny, but also the leather's got to feel pretty good, and it's starting to feel really good. I'm going to let that soak in. And then, later on I'll see if it needs another coat or whether if I'm good with that one. And you know, it's all about feel. So now I'm gonna start I'm gonna put that aside, and I'm gonna start conditioning the rest of this glove, starting with the web here. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Dab my fingers into it and just give a little bit of dressing on it. As little as needed. You never want to oversaturate the leather, because then it just clogs up all of the leather pores, and then your glove gets really heavy and everything like that. Now the trick for the inside of the mitt is to actually get your hand oily and then stick it in there and work it in there. Okay, so I just get a little bit, I rub it around on my hand so that my hand has the oil, the dressing on it, and then I just stick my hand inside the glove and I work my hand around. Now I'm going to let this soak in a little bit, and now actually maybe a good time to address some of these grommets seem to be coming undone a little bit. So what you do is you take a hammer and you kind of just knock it down a little bit. There's a few spots, and this is a good point at which you can start addressing some of the stitching. If there's some loose stitching here and there, you can go and use that awl to get in there with some new thread. I'm gonna see what I can do here, but it looks in pretty good condition. So I'm just gonna let this soak here for a little bit, and then I'll come back and address some of those other issues like stitching and grommets.
Take it.